This kid's fire.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that? What's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother,
Yes, guys, welcome back to another stream, man. We're going to be discussing all the news that come out from the training session today. A couple of players are out, as you can see from the title. We're going to discuss some more transfer speculation. Bruno at Newcastle, again today linked by different journalists to Manchester City and Arsenal, to be fair. And Gary Oneil has apparently been interviewed for the Liverpool job. We're discussing our rivals as well, with a bit of rival talk. I'm joined by Pat, and you can find Mancunian Way linked in the description, and of course, you can find Hugh linked in the description as well. Martin's just sent me a message saying, "Stop nicking my boys." Not happy, Pat. He's not happy, mate. How you doing, bro? You all right?
Oh, well, he's never happy about anything, to be honest, but that's what happens when you keep having Alan on the show.
Oh, shot sent for Al. Hugh, how you doing, bro? You good, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Life's good. Life's all right now. Thanks for having me on.
Let me talk. We'll come to the training news in a bit. I want to speak about this Bruno from Newcastle. He's been linked over the last couple of days to City. I spoke about it yesterday. I did a little transfer stream yesterday, which went on for a long time. He's been linked again today to City with a move. I wanted to get your takes on him, because for me, I've been saying I prefer Kimmich. I think it's a better option, but Hugh, let me start with you. Like, Bruno, around 100 million quid, they reckon. He's been linked to City again. This news seems to be picking up pace.
Yeah, it does. I mean, both of them are terrific players, in my opinion. I think they both tick boxes that would appeal to Pep Guardiola. I mean, first of all, the Kimmich one's obviously cheaper than Bruno, but the Bruno one, we saw reports a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, that City are potentially willing to break their transfer record for a player, which is £100 million for Jack Grealish. I think Bruno possibly falls into that category. Could he be that guy? Kimmich obviously has his relationship with Pep. Pep kind of made Kimmich, didn't he? As a footballer, kind of brought him onto the scene. They have a good relationship. As I said, he'd be a lot cheaper. They both fall under that category of just a general umbrella of midfielder, don't they? Versatility that Pep Guardiola really, really loves. And Pep rarely seems to go for players who are specialists or playing set positions, with the exception of maybe Haaland at number 9, Rodri number 6. Generally, everybody can play an array of positions, and that's what they can both do. But yeah, I mean, with Newcastle's current financial situation, I mean, I don't know if people know my thoughts on FFP. I can't stand it, but it's meant they kind of have to sell. It's meant they kind of have to make some money. And 100 million for Bruno, I reckon they bite the hand off it. I've seen some people saying that his release clause is only active to clubs outside England, but I still think if anybody offers Newcastle 100 million, they're taking it.
Yeah, possibly. Apparently, the Newcastle fans keep saying this, that he's bought a new house, £4 million house he's just recently bought in the northeast. So they're saying he's going to stay. I don't know. What's your take on this, Pat?
I don't know. I mean, we're certainly going to see more column inches come out now that we're not playing as many midweek games. But look, it was always going to be a given when you put, it's just simply putting two and two together and understanding that, yes, there is a bit of Newcastle under the microscope a little bit with FFP or PSR restrictions or regulations. So for them, maybe selling might be the quick way out of that, any sort of legal red tape or any sort of issues that they may have with that, basically. I think I agree with you, mate. I still think Kimmich is the best option. Despite the age, I still think the versatility there is absolutely second to none. And for a fact that obviously, he basically started his his major professional career was basically started under the tutelage of Pep. So none of this whole season to bet in. He will hit the ground running quicker than anybody else. It's always a big question mark with midfielders is how long are they going to adapt with Pep's style of play. As you said, I think number nines and defenders are a different story. They seem to just hit the ground running straight away because I think they know what their roles are as in a Pep squad. They keep it quite simple. There's not too much. There's not much to it, to the style of play. But look, I think at the end of the day, we've got to look at it and say, Bruno would still be a fantastic addition to this squad, regardless of how much he costs in that. I would like to hope that any sort of inconsistencies that he's shown when he plays against us will be ratified when he plays under Pep. I think he'll certainly become a bit more of a more disciplined player. Certainly be able to find a way to play within himself or still become like a good team player when he may not be having the best individual performance. Again, until players, come through the door and they're actually under the tutelage of Pep, we could see a completely different animal to what we may see, only 2 or 3 times a year when they play in the league and they're playing the cup against us. But he's shown his quality, and I think he is a good player. And if we were to come through the door tomorrow and we'd see on the city app with him holding the shirt, I'd be more than happy to see him in the squad. Just a fantastic addition and a really good way to bolster the depth of the squad as well.
Yeah, what's your guys' takes on this Joao Neves kid? He's at Benfica, right? And I watched him the other day. I did a watch along of Benfica's game, and he looked all right. To be fair, he's playing in the DM position on his own, right, in a Europa League game, which is he must be trusted by the Benfica manager, and he played quite well. But apparently he's going to cost that 100 mil. And he's only 19, but people are telling me that he's meant to be absolutely mega. And people are saying that we can't risk not getting him. We have to go for him. I don't know, man. It just seems like a bit of a risk to me. But is it a risk worth taking?
I've never watched the guy. I'm going to be told. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I know a huge amount about him because I don't. But if he's 19, he's still got a lot of improving to do. He's still got a lot of developing to do, a lot of learning to do. And a step up from Benfica to Manchester City is absolutely huge. I mean, we saw that with Darwin Núñez at Liverpool. The guy bagged 33 goals in his last season at Benfica. Liverpool thought they had their version of Haaland. And, the jump from Benfica to Liverpool was just that bit too much. This summer, I'm not particularly interested in potential. I'm not particularly interested in maybes and risks. I think if we want to give ourselves the best chance of sustaining challenges and consistent success, if under Pep Guardiola, and also give ourselves the best chance of keeping Pep Guardiola. I think this summer's huge for keeping Pep Guardiola. You got to show him that we still have the ambition to sign these top players. I'm looking for players for right here, right now. I'm looking for players who are going to come in and that impact right now. I mean, I'm not looking for a Doku who's young, who I've no doubt is going to be a great player, but he's got a lot of learning and development to do. I'm not looking for a Matheus Nunes, who's a maybe player. I'm not looking for a Calvin Phillips, who's a maybe player, and turned out to be a not player. I'm looking for players for right here, right now. And I think Kimmich definitely is a right here, right now player. I don't think he needs an adaptation period. I think he'd come in and it would be relatively seamless. I think Bruno G would probably have a similar transition from Newcastle to Manchester City. I think he could handle it. Neves, like I said, people might rate him really highly. I don't know him, but like I said, I'm looking for right here, right now.
Yeah, Hugh, I agree with you, mate. I think if Neves was to come in, never mind this whole 1 year of betting in with Pep, I think that he's a player that would probably have to take 2 or 3 years to bet in. Such a young, raw talent like that is not someone who's going to be able to hit the heights of, playing the number 6 role by yourself in one of the top teams in Europe. It is going to take time. But from the experience that I've seen of him, I was lucky enough to see him live earlier in the season. He does look like he can hold his own, even as a 19-year-old. And he's quite small as well, too. You wonder if, players would absolutely bulldoze through him in a league season. But we said the same thing about David Silva when he first came to Manchester City. So You know, I think a player like him, it is going to take time. And, you know, the problem is now is that, you know, you see there are certain minorities of our fan base who are very, very cutthroat now, where they want success immediately, or they want players to hit the ground immediately. And that's never been the case, you know, because then if that's going to be the case, then why didn't we really ridicule Bernardo Silva after the first season? Why didn't we ridicule Leroy Sane after a season? I think if we went to go down the Joao Neves route, I'm okay with it, because at the end of the day, it's still, the hierarchy still suggests that Rodri is going to be our number one. And I think the more and more time Joao Neves was able to play in the number 6 role by himself, then he's only going to learn and get better from that. And then once the time comes when Rodri starts getting a little bit older, then Joao Neves can take the reins and just take over that number 6, like as if Rodri was never there, basically. With all due respect to Rodri, of course, because he's one of the best number 6s in world football. But yeah, look, I would be so comfortable. I'd be so comfortable with him if we took our time with him and he was just a long-term successor to Rodri.
The worry is, though, that, like, because Pep is so meticulous with the way the number 6 plays, the number 6 is the most important player on the pitch for Pep Guardiola. I think we can all agree. He's the orchestrator, he's the quarterback, and so on and so forth. The worry is that Pep is so meticulous about the way he wants number 6 to play. If he feels, Neves could be a great player in 2, 3, 4 years' time, you know, the way Rodri took a year or so to get used to the role at Man City, you're talking about Rodri being solely relied on then for another season where he has to play every single big game, pretty well any, you know, minutes that are in the balance or a game's not wrapped up, Rodri has to play. I'm so concerned about it, because if we're at a point right now, which we are, where Rodri's actually himself coming out saying he's tired, you best believe the guy's absolutely tired. Players don't say that unless they're really, really feeling it.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm hell-bent on, look, I get the whole project thing, and I agree that that's important for, you know, continuing and refreshing and not, you know, keeping the cycle going and not allowing a total drop-off. But I think with this particular position, we are in a position where we need to get Rodri some support. We need to get Rodri someone he can lean on, someone he can share with. We're not talking about replacing him. We're talking about helping the guy. This is called, you know, it's going to benefit both the new guy coming in, getting minutes and learning role at Man City. You know, if it's a Bruno G or a Kimmich, can play a number of roles, but also relieving Rodri of some minutes. Because I keep talking about sustaining success and giving ourselves the best chances of continuing and refreshing, Rodri is key to that. If Rodri has a collapse and Rodri burns out, like we've seen with loads of players over the years, we are in big, big trouble. He's a diamond. He's a gem. Have to protect him. Find someone who he can balance with.
Yeah, no, it is an interesting one. Listen, part of me, like I like to think of myself a bit of a risk taker. I'm a bit of a risk taker, and part of me is like, fucking full send Neves, man. But like, I don't know. I can't lie. Like the other night, I watched him, and he looked alright. He was actually pretty good. Like I say, he was playing in the DM position on his own, Europa League. He didn't do anything wrong. He just didn't get enough of the ball, really. So like, it was difficult for me to say anything. But yeah, there's a lot of fans there, a lot of people in the chats. I'm sure you guys see it in your channels as well. A lot of people are like, nah, we got to get this guy. I would probably have to do a couple more watch-alongs of Benfica to see what he's about. The one thing I would say is, with Neves, is it's not like, I don't think he'd fail. I don't think he'd flop at City. It's just whether or not he's going to be ready that next season to provide that support to Rodri, or whether it's going to be 2 or 3 years down the line, which is no good to us. Because we need help now, because Rodri's fucking being running to the ground.
Talk about right now, LB. You want to look at hypotheticals. Let's say all three of us were able to pull the strings on, you know, how we wanted European football to sort of pan out with transfers over the next couple of years. We're all in agreement, I think, the three of us, and a lot of people in the chat will feel the same too, that Kimmich would be perfect right here, right now. Great relief for Rodri, an extra body in the midfield if we need it, great squad depth, a fantastic player to have. Kimmich is 29 now, and you get at least 2 or 3 years more out of him, you know, quality player, quality performances. Now, if we had it our way, obviously we'd love it if Joao Neves could stay at Benfica for a couple more years, you know, and then once he's built up a bit more game time and a bit more experience in the first team and that, you know, by the time he hits about 23, 24, then absolutely I'd be more than happy for him to come into the squad. Because at the end of the day, what you and I are looking at, LB, is still a very, very small sample size. I think the guy's only played about 70 or 80 games at senior level for Benfica so far, hasn't he? So Yeah, you're right about it being an absolute risk, of course. But yeah, if we had it our way, then yeah, obviously it'd be perfect if we could have Kimmich to come in for a couple of years while Joao Neves was waiting in the wings to become a City player. But of course, we don't know what other clubs are planning on doing. Some clubs are a lot more risky than us. There's nothing stopping. I was going to say nothing stopping Chelsea, but obviously they're in their own sort of financial issues at the moment. But you look at what they used to do under Abramovich, the second we said, oh, no, that's not a player we go after, within 2 or 3 days, they'd be on the phone to him. Next thing you know, he's already up holding a Chelsea shirt. We've seen it before. And we don't know if there's another club out there that may be able to do the same thing. But in an ideal world, Kimmich would be perfect right now for a couple of years until Neves was ready to go.
Yeah, no, 100%. And just to clarify, he's played 77 matches for club and country. Which is not a great amount. I've got a question for you guys, yeah. Before we move on from this topic, and chat, I want your answers in the chat as well. And if you're watching back on replay, give us your comments down below. Make sure you smash the likes while you're at it. I'll get this City extra tweet up while I'm doing it. Rank 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 if you've got other players in mind. What is your priority in terms of player for that CDM position? Do you get me? So I'll start off. Mine would be. I don't know. I think I'd go Kimmich for number 1. Part of me is like Neves over Bruno, and I know that might be a little hot take, but part of me is like, if I can't get Kimmich, I like Bruno, but there's something about it which I just not massive on. I'm gonna go Kimmich 1, Neves 2, and something else. And who's the other guy? Bruno 3. That's what I'm going.
Go on, Pat.
I would go Kimmich. I want to say Douglas Luiz. The only thing that I'm worried about is the disciplinary record, because he's got about 3 or 4 more yellow cards than what Rodri does. Bruno a distant third for me, because I still think he's better as an 8 than he is as a 6, and I don't know how he would be able. I don't know if he'd be able to fill. I don't know if he'd be as good at filling the role as a 6 on his own. Especially if we need to rest Rodri. I'm not too sure about that. As an 8, he'd be fantastic. And then 4th for me, because again, I think he's just an absolute consummate professional, and he proved it when he played us last week. As a number 6 as well too, as a stopgap, I'd have Tony Kroos, because he's still an absolute gun and an absolute amazing veteran presence in the in any squad basically.
Not heard that one.
Ichigo just mentioned Jacob Wright there too. He might be one for the future as well. That's way down the track, of course, but
yeah.
He
That's
could be one
a
for the
few years
future.
down the line, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Hugh? What's yours?
My number 1 would be Kimmich. My number 2 would be Tchouaméni. I think Tchouaméni. I've heard talks about him not getting the minutes in that role that he may want moving forward due to whatever business Real Madrid are doing. I think Tchouaméni would be a bad man on our team. Bad man on our team. But I don't think I think he falls out of that category of players that will be willing to rotate with Rodri or play deputy to Rodri. I think wherever he goes, he wants to be the number 1.
Is he an out-and-out DM? What is he?
He's another one of these.
Can he play further forward?
He can play further forward, further back, centre half, as we've seen recently.
He ticks the boxes, because then he's a versatile midfielder.
Yeah.
So, but basically, what I'm saying is,
want,
could you play Rodri, Tchouaméni, and Foden, for example, and it not be too defensive, or is that too defensive?
Of course, you could. Tchouaméni could do box to box.
I wonder how much
I'm going to get his contract situation.
We've seen a lot this season. Actually, Rodri is playing a bit more advanced for a 6, especially when Kovacic is on the pitch with him too.
That's an interesting shout. I did actually say that the other day, and then I just sort of thought it's never going to happen. But if you actually go through what their team's going to be next year, he probably doesn't get in the team next year. Or someone decent from Madrid is not getting in the team. If they get Mbappe, Vinny, and Rodrigo have to play. Jude Bellingham has to play. Camavinga has to play. And I'd imagine Valverde has to play.
Which means Kroos and Modric are on the way out anyway.
Well, Kroos and Modric are out on the way out, but still you're going to have one player who's not going to play. Now, you can obviously rotate and that's fine, but if you went to one of those players, I mean, if we could get Camavinga, my lord, Oh my god, if we could get it. I know it's never gonna happen. I know. So chat, I'm only like just like dreaming
Absolute
it.
Rolls
If we could
Royce,
get Camavinga. Oh my god. You know what? If we got Camavinga, I think I'd get a shirt with his name on the back. The last person I got the shirt name on the back, like legit shirt, not off DHgate, was I think Tevez.
You had a Gundo one for a while, didn't you?
Nah, that was that wasn't legit.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking like, you know what I mean, where the club gets the money in it.
Camavinga and John Stones on the field together, mate. That's not a team. That's a Rolls Royce dealership.
Oh no,
They are not letting go of Camavinga. Not a chance.
No.
He's on 240 grand a week and he's on 6-year contract. He's 6 years remaining. He's on one of those Chelsea death row contracts. And then Tchouaméni's also on 240 a week, and he's got 5 years left on his contract. But look, I mean, if you want to cough up $1 billion, Camavinga has a 1 billion release clause.
Oh, they all do.
All right. Maybe we could do that. Right, let's move. Let's move it on from there. That's a decent shout there. Martin says you three playing FIFA here, lol. Well, this is what dreams are about, Martin. I mean, we can't have a little dream now again. What can you do? Big up to JTI sent in a super chat early on. Said morning, y'all. Hit the likes up, people. Come on, guys. 450 people tuned in already. Let's get those likes up, man. We're not even at 150 likes. 7 people needed. 7 people out of 450 to get us to 150 likes. So please make sure you hit that like button. Please make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well. And of course, you can find the links to Mancunian Way and Hugh's channel in the description as well. Big up to Andrew, big Liverpool fan, says if we get a rubbish manager, I hope it goes wrong and our value drops. Then FSG will have to sell. They are not going to get it right at all. He can't stand them. Yeah, well, we are going to come on to Liverpool at the last part of the show, in the rival talk. So stay tuned for another maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll get onto your football club, bro. Because there's a lot to speak about. You know what I mean? I think that you guys could be in the mud at the moment, but we'll speak about that in 15 minutes. Just a bit of news. You guys said LB Jexy Extra. That's what you guys did, man. That's what you guys spammed in the chat. So I did check it. Another day, another story about Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva is crazy about joining Barcelona this summer and is willing to reduce his wages to do so. The Man City midfielder feels he'll fit perfectly, and should Barcelona get back at 1-1 with a good sale, they can make a move for him. They go on to say, as per FFP Polo, on Barcelona's 1v1 rule, a framework in which it can have the capacity to return to the transfer market. That is, each euro earned in transfers can also be used without restrictions to make contracts. So obviously they're in a financial mode. Sounds like if they get 50 million in, they can spend 50 million. I think that's basically what the chat say. I mean, I don't think there's much to say. I think most people think he's going to leave this summer anyway. I do. 50 million. I mean, if no one buys him for 50 million, then like we need to have a serious conversation about the state of European football. If no one sees value in 50 million, I don't know. That's pretty much it. I think he's gone. I really do. I don't see him staying next year.
Nah.
Anyone disagree?
Yeah.
No.
Well, sell now, because if we don't sell this summer, he's not going to be worth 50 million the following summer. And I know that might be tough for some people to take, but the thing is, you've got to think of it with your head and not with your heart. We in our minds, we all think he's still worth 120 million. You have to understand that the market isn't just what it is, what we feel it should be. You know, we said the same thing about Laporte. We thought Laporte should have gone to Saudi for 50 million. What did we? You know, we look back on it now. We're grateful that I think we got 25 or 30 million for him. So, look, his legacy will always be. He has an immortal, legacy now at Manchester City for what he's done for us over the last 7 years or so. So for me, he has my absolute blessing to go. If I could have it one way though for City, is that I just don't want him to go to Barcelona and it's under a similar terms to like Ferran Torres, where they're basically barely scraping to pay, the entire transfer fee over the course of the duration of his contract. Because I think they've only still paid about two or three installments of the 55 million for Ferran Torres. Bernardo Silva is probably going to be the same as well if we're not careful. So I'd just like to see us just be a little bit more aggressive with that and not just be like, oh, look, respect the wishes and you just pay us at any time. It's fine. I just want us to show a little bit more teeth in the market, and just don't be, because it's Barcelona, we're happy to play, nice guy with them sort of in a way. I'd rather it's just to be a little bit more ruthless with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, sometimes you do get that vibe sometimes, innit, from City that like we're a little soft when we sell players. So like to me, I get it, it's frustrating. It's not really that frustrated for me, only from Pat, because I don't really like care about that side of football, but like it does seem that we're a little soft when we sell
Yeah.
players, you know, especially like Laporte. I know Laporte wasn't playing as Brett said, but like 25 mil for Laporte is crazy. 25 million for Mahrez, and then everyone was fucking
Yeah.
buzzing. You know what I mean? When that was actually a terrible deal, as I said at the time. But yeah, 50 mil, it's going to happen, innit? Lucas Paqueta is my dream replacement. I think he'd be an insane replacement.
Yeah.
80 million or whatever it is. I think he can do pretty much what Bernardo can do. Maybe not the effort level to the same degree, but he can, you know, people like to think, oh, when we lose Bernardo for Paqueta, it's going to be really bad. I'd say something, yeah. Paqueta will get massive more G&A than Bernardo Silva. His assists will be a lot higher than Bernardo Silva. His goal involvements will be a lot higher than Bernardo Silva. Now, the other side of the game, will he be as disciplined as Bernardo Silva? No. Will he work as hard as Bernardo Silva? Probably not. He does work hard, but probably not as Bernardo Silva. Will he have the control that Bernardo Silva has? No. But like, there's pros and cons to the deal. So for me, Paqueta's the obvious one. But yeah, Bernardo's gone in it. So.
Yeah, this is the thing. When Paqueta comes in, we could easily say, you know, we could be saying after a couple of seasons, like, oh, he's not the workhorse that Bernardo was. Said, yeah, but he gets, unlike Bernardo, he gets double-digit goals and assists every season.
And he does work hard, bro. I tell this story all the time, yeah. I tell this story all the time. You know what it is, right? People have the pre-programmed views of people, right, about how they play, right? I know Paqueta, because he's Brazilian, right, and he does all these flicks, everyone will think who's not watched him. Everyone will just think, oh, he's a show pony. He doesn't do this. He doesn't work hard enough, blah, 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 because he does the tricks. Actually, if you watch him, he works extremely hard. And I tell this story all the time. I sat in that room, yeah, watching Sky Sports News at the start of the season. It was like 10 games into the season, right? And on the right-hand side of the screen, it has like loads of stats for like players like FPL and all that kind of shit, yeah? And it come up, it says, most tackles made in the Premier League. Paqueta at the top. And I thought, wow, Paqueta at the top. That is insane. Now, whether we're going to get him or not, I don't know. This, as Craig says in the chat there, we need to wait for this gambling charge. If the gambling charge ain't done, Paqueta ain't coming. And we'll move on to someone else. And people keep on saying, oh, apparently it's going to get done 2 weeks, 3 weeks, next month. They've been saying this since August, and it's still not done. So as we get closer and closer to the transfer window, it is looking less and less likely that Paqueta will come in because, you know, we're running out of time, essentially. But if it does get cleared, we've got to move through.
Do you get the sense that the FA and or West Ham are sort of dragging the knuckles on this?
Well, it's got nothing to do with West Ham, though, has it? It's got nothing to do with West Ham. It's got to do with Paqueta, FA, and the family that live on this island in South America, innit? That's it. It's got nothing to do with West Ham, really. Unless they've been placing the bets on his behalf, which I doubt it. Like, that's it. Like, so, and Paqueta, bro, unless he's guilty, and therefore he's dragging it out because he doesn't want to get banned, he would want this done as soon as possible, wouldn't he?
Although, again, we can't do business with West Ham until we know exactly what the FA have in store or what they're going to, if they are going to charge Paqueta with anything. So I guess it's one without the other, you know. So we'll just have to wait and see. But you just get the sense that, especially the FA, you get the sense that they're dragging their knuckles. And I know for a fact that you do feel like if it was any other established top six club, they probably wouldn't be doing the same thing.
Yeah, but I see people, Pat, and going, "Oh, we should just buy him anyway."
You'll get another. Okay, and then what happens if he does get nicked? It's another Tonali. It's another Ivan Toney.
What are you talking about? Buy him anyway. What about if he gets banned for 4 years, man? We just wasted 80 million quid on a guy who can't even play football. Honestly, man, it's
117
crazy.
charges.
You can't do that. You got to wait for the charges to be done. Listen, I'd love to buy him. I want him. I'm desperate for him to play for City. But even I would not, advocate for buying a player that could be banned. For who knows how bad it is. You know what I mean? Tonali got banned for what, a year? You know what I mean? Tony was 6-7 months, something like that. Like, it could be worse than those two. It could be worse. He could be banned for 2 years, 3 years. You can't do that, man. So
and the reports are Tonali's got more on the way too.
Is that true? Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
It would be just our luck that if we did decide to take the risk and pull the trigger and say like the 1st of August, 2nd of August verdict, Paqueta done 4 years.
Yeah. Well, Danny Olmo's the other link. I see Craig speaking about it. We were linked with Danny Olmo in the summer. Obviously, Spanish player, plays for Leipzig, top player. Can play anywhere really across the front line. I feel like he's a better version of Ferran Torres. You know what I mean? He can play anywhere across the front line. Probably plays a striker, left wing, right wing, attacking midfielder. Very Ferran Torres.
Release clause of about €70 million I believe.
Apparently so. Which I think is in this market part. I think that's pretty good value.
Yeah,
pretty good value. So maybe if Paqueta it doesn't get done, maybe they'll move on to Olmo. And by all accounts, City did inquire about him last summer before we got Nunez. But Leipzig had already sold a couple of players, so they said like, nah. So yeah. So anyway, we'll see that. All right, we've got some training news as well, guys. Over 500 people locked in. Make sure you smash the likes up. We're 20 people away from 200 likes, guys. We are going to come on to Liverpool's managerial chat as well in the title talk section of the show. But yeah, we got this news this morning. Erling Haaland and Phil Foden are both absent from today's training today. John Stones is in training. Obviously, he got subbed off in the last game after 45 minutes, but it was probably because he was throwing up rather than any sort of injury. But yeah, Haaland's still out. Foden, did Foden go off with a knock or something? I didn't remember him getting injured against Chelsea. No. That must be, maybe it's fatigue because he's played a lot of football, hasn't he? He's played a lot of football. But
I think he's our second most played player this season. Maybe the first there since Ederson was injured for a while.
He was first at one point, bro. I'll check now where he is on the list.
He might be first again since Ederson was out for a while. I think Ederson was the only one that was ahead of him for a while. But yeah, I don't know. The Phil Foden one's a shock. I didn't think there was anything wrong with him when he played against Chelsea in the weekend. I don't think he went off anyway, from what I remember. So I don't know. Maybe it's just rest. I mean, we're at the stage of the season, and I said this on my own channel a while ago, where like, not some of these players, they don't need to train every day. Do you know what I mean? They don't need to train every day. They're playing every 3 or 4 days in big matches anyway. They know what they need to do when they're out in the pitch. There's no point in training them every single day. They're not going to get any fitter. You know what I mean? You're not going to get any more match sharpness into them. So there could be an element of that involved. I would imagine Haaland definitely has a knock from what we heard last week, but Foden, I wouldn't be surprised if he got a rest.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, if he gets a rest against Brighton on Thursday, bro, are you going to play Kevin De Bruyne again? And maybe play Kevin De Bruyne? Because I was saying yesterday, right, if it was me, I'd play Foden on Thursday, rest Kevin De Bruyne, and then play Kevin De Bruyne against Forest on Sunday. But maybe if Foden's not available, maybe you have to do reverse. Play Kevin De Bruyne on Thursday, play Foden on Sunday. Because I don't know about. I just don't know about Kevin De Bruyne playing these 2 games in a row, man. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
No, I'd agree with you, and also too, I think Phil Foden's got a fantastic record against Brighton, especially away. Pretty sure he's scored in every league match he's played there. So
Foden is our most played player as well by minutes. Hugh.
Yeah.
He's up there, man. He's played 47 games, more than Rodri's only on 43. He's played 3,770 minutes, which is 62 minutes more than Rodri. So yeah, he's up there. But yeah, that's some of the injury news. I don't think there's anything else that's because they did some sort of like open training session this morning. Have you seen the new kits, by the way?
Yeah, I like them. Everyone's hating the 016 one.
Yeah.
I think it'll grow on me, man. I love the 3rd shirt, the remake of the 99 shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know. I buy them all anyway, man. Even when we had that dead one with Man City written across the chest, I bought that.
That was horrific.
Here's a question for you. When was the last season where we had all 3 shirts? So the home kit, the away kit, and the alternate kit, the 3rd kit, were all bangers. Like you loved them. You loved all 3. You bought all 3.
Centurions, where you had the plain bright blue home shirt, you had the maroon away shirt, and you had the all black 3rd shirt. I thought that was absolutely class.
Okay. Yeah, see, for me it would be the 2021 season because you had the mosaic home kit. That was nice. The season before that. So you had the mosaic kit, with like with the white fractured, the
COVID 3rd shirt with all the.
And then you had the away kit, the sort of midnight blue and copper, as I called it. What do they call it? The Castlefield Bridges or something. And then the Paisley 3rd kit, which I think will be a future classic. I think in 10, 15 years time, that'll be like our modern day version of the old Oasis 3rd kit. the white with the purple stripes
Yeah.
from like '94 and that.
Yeah,
Do you
no,
remember?
that is actually. I think this blue kit here is actually so nice. To be fair,
Do you remember
yeah.
how much everyone hated that one, LB, when it first came out?
That-
It looks like
that
a
one?
swimming pool floor. It looks like the bottom of a
Oh
swimming
yeah.
pool.
No, these were growers. These like even the white one. I remember that when that white one got released, and everyone was like, "That's absolutely disgusting!" Like, and because it was like COVID, the thing looks like like an infection thing. Like it looks like a COVID. Everyone was like, "Why have you done COVID on a shirt, man?" Literally, people are dying of COVID, and you put it on the shirt. Well, then obviously it's not COVID, in it. After a while, it grew on people. But yeah, that home one there is pretty nice. Yeah,
even the keeper
that
kits
one.
from that season were good too.
Bro, what is that?
See that home shirt there?
Yeah.
I'm literally sitting on a match-worn Jack Grealish one.
Why you need to get it framed? Why you
I've been meaning to for ages.
What are you?
Why are you
Well, you're
sitting
going to
on
get it framed, Hugh. Do you not own an iron?
It's just been sitting in here since I got this shit.
You're sitting on it to get the creases out.
Do you remember we beat Arsenal 5-1 in, I think it was the second home game of the season that year?
Yeah.
Was it 5-0?
Yeah,
5-0?
5-0.
Paqueta got sent off.
5-0. Yeah, Grealish wore that in that game.
No
Oh,
way.
right, okay.
You should get it framed, bro.
Nah, I keep sitting on it.
Just sitting on it. Yeah. Nah, I you know what? I think that cracked one. I think that's the best three in the three. I think they're really, really nice, man. I'm still not a massive fan of the white one, but it's all right. It's decent. But I really like that blue one, man. That blue one is
Yeah.
But then
But you, I agree with
2018
you too. The
LB.
three kids from the Centurion season were really good. You
Yeah,
know, you
that
had the
2018
that.
I
The
love
cool
them.
thing about the third kit was it every single, even though it, like, from a distance it looked like a plain sort of, you know, deep green sort of color, every single shirt had a different pattern to it, like as if it was all cut from a single piece of cloth. So if if all three of us stood next to each other with that third kit on,
Yeah.
all the pattern would be completely different from each other.
One of one.
Yeah, that is pretty nice, man. I remember Nike when we had Nike. That was a bit of a madness, wasn't it?
I love
This just reminds me of Aguero, and I start getting sad.
Yeah.
Do you know what the ironic thing is that we complained about how much the Nike kits were like copy and paste jobs, you know, every single year. And yet the ironic thing was that the best kits that we had were Umbro kits when Umbro was owned by Nike.
Yeah, Umbro was pretty good. Tell me this kit reminds you of Wilfried Boney, mate. Is that not Wilfried Boney kit, that?
No, it reminds me of Paulo Dybala because that's who we should have got.
I could have that up for some reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Umbro. Yeah, Umbro was on madness, and as Christo says, Umbro cotton shirts, bring them back. Was we?
Remember that Europa League shirt there when we were in the Europa League? Go up. Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah. Is that when we played Sporting Lisbon or no?
Yeah, I think we played Sporting in the third one, didn't we? The stripe one.
That was Mancini's last season.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because that shirt there, that maroon one, reminds me of Maicon.
Maicon.
Tell me that just reminds you of Maicon, man. Getting absolutely smoked off everyone.
I don't know why, but the home kit reminds me of Javi Garcia.
We thought we were getting the best thing ever with Maicon. It just wasn't the case.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just remember him coming to City. We played Spurs, and the Spurs fans absolutely ripped him apart because it was the year or two after that Gareth Bale had just absolutely ruined him.
Yeah.
At San Siro, and he come, and I'm pretty sure he didn't get absolutely cooked in the game, but Gareth Bale, I'm pretty sure, still kind of cooked him. And I just remember Maicon getting absolutely rinsed in that game. Big up to Crystal. Final part of the show, we'll speak about Liverpool's managerial sort of chase. They've been our rivals over the last sort of 7 or 8 years, where Pep and Klopp have been going head to head, and it's been an insane 8 years, really. You know what I mean? The rivalry between the two clubs, the players on the pitch, the managers, the fans, everything has been insane, and it's been mentally, stressful. It's quite funny, actually. Like, I always, whenever I do shows or like listen to Liverpool fans speak, I feel like a lot of them feel, because obviously we've got the better of them, really, innit? Like all the time, really. Even the year that they won it, we weren't really, like, it wasn't even a race. They all feel that, like, I feel that a lot of Liverpool fans don't understand that we also got stressed. We also got like that mental stressness when we're watching your team play. Just because we won the league doesn't mean that we didn't go through the pain as well. But obviously we got the joy and celebrations at the end of the season. But like it was equal situation. Obviously, Klopp's leaving. Amorim now, some weird stuff's going on with Amorim. Like I don't know what's going on. Like 1 minute he's going to West Ham. Now apparently he's not going to West Ham. I don't know what's happening here. Now they're apparently going for Arne Slot, the guy at Feyenoord, but De Zerbi's still like second favorite as well. What are you guys saying about this, man? Are we going to? Is this the end of Liverpool? Like not in like a knob way, like they're going to be finished, but I just don't see them challenging for the title in the next couple of years, especially if Salah goes as well. If Salah goes, Klopp goes, they're going to get a manager that no one's heard of. Like, what's happening with Liverpool now?
Just slightly closer to now's times, Fabrizio's just said Jota's out. He's going to miss the Merseyside derby on Wednesday.
Wowza.
That's a big miss because I rate Jota. I think he's so underrated.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
He's a bagsman. Anyways, with Liverpool, the managerial thing, it doesn't come as a surprise to me that they're finding it difficult to get someone to put pen to paper and accept the job. And I said this in the Big Six last night. It's not an appealing job to take right now. It's not an appealing job to take because whoever goes in is trying to fill the boots of Jurgen Klopp, who is lauded and he's a saint in that place. And that's
so. You think that's going to be the same for City then? Is that going to apply?
Yes. Of course. That's unfortunately that is the downside to having a fantastic manager that you rate so highly and everybody falls in love with. Then when the next guy comes along, it's almost impossible for him to gain the same level of love that the previous guy had. And Liverpool are fishing in a pool of managers right now. Amorim. Who else was there? There was Xabi Alonso, who, they're up and comers. They're very much up and comers. They're very respected where they are, but they're not at that, elite level. They're not in that top tier category manager, and they can get there. But jumping from Leverkusen to Liverpool or Sporting to Liverpool, it's a massive jump to go and fill Jurgen Klopp's boots. Do they want to risk stagnating or hindering their development as a manager by taking on that role too soon? It's not that they couldn't eventually do it or they couldn't eventually handle it. I believe both of them can, but it's a massive risk in your own career development. I would understand it if Amorim wanted to go to somewhere like West Ham instead, because you're getting your foot in the door of the Premier League. It's a new level, a new league, a new intensity, whatever, so on and so forth. They're going to find it hard to find some young or up. I mean, he's 38, 39, Amorim. He's a really young guy in managerial terms. Does he want to risk damaging his whole reputation, a black mark on his CV, just to take a Liverpool job that's available right now? I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't. You're doing great where you are. You can do great somewhere else, the next step. You don't need to risk it. In my opinion, Liverpool need to get some sort of a big dog manager, even if it's short term, who's got pedigree in the game, knows what they're doing, won't be overawed by taking Jurgen Klopp's job. And then after that, maybe go for your project manager, because taking a project manager right now, it's a lot of responsibility and a lot, because everything he does, bro, it's going to be microscope, hyper analyzed. Klopp wouldn't have done this. Klopp wouldn't have done that. Blah, 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 blah. It's tough, man. It's tough. And we're going to have the exact same issue in the next couple of years.
Well, where you think, sorry, Pat, you wanted to go in. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, because I haven't had a chance to check it, but LB, are you able to bring up the table for the Portuguese league at the moment? Is Sporting still leading the league?
What's it called? Liga what? Liga NOS.
Maybe. I don't know. I would just say Google Portugal league table, but okay.
Yeah, that would have been the better thing to do.
Okay, so, oh, God, they got a bit of a gap. Yeah, they got a bit of a gap now. Actually, it was more than last I looked at it. Wouldn't you say that Amorim is handling this exactly the way you would want to be if you were a Sporting fan? I mean, if you're in a title race and you're top of the league, the last thing you want is distractions by media saying, are you going to Liverpool? What's happening with next season? Are you going there? What are you doing? Like, what's your movements? You want to quash those. You want to quash those answers straight away and just say, have any response basically that is not going to be distracting for you or distracting towards your players. So there's every chance that Amorim could still go. It's just if they're going to ask him, what are your plans for next season before you've even lifted the bloody league title, then of course he's going to respond in ways where he's just going to shut everything down and not, want to talk about it. So there's still a chance that it could happen.
Well, there's still a chance, but David Ornstein yesterday came out and said, it's now unlikely that it will be Amorim. So if it's not Amorim, who's it going to be?
Well, it's unlikely. As I said, it's unlikely at this time right now because he probably doesn't want to talk about anything except for the amount of games that they've got remaining before they can clinch the league title.
Well,
And I think,
apparently either
Amarim's done the right thing. I think he's just shut down all any sort of questions about it, and he's just trying to focus on what he needs to do. And then once he's got a league title, then maybe he can look at his future. The only thing you're right though about his age. The only thing I worry about is at 38 or 39 years of age, it's a huge leap forward. It's a massive jump in the deep end to go from managing in the Portuguese league to managing Liverpool. That's a huge leap. You know, to me, it screams a bit of Graham Potter to Chelsea to me, as it's just shoes that may be way too big to fill, not just the club itself, but whose shoes you're actually filling once you get in there in the form of Jurgen Klopp's. So it's a huge task to ask. You know, it becomes, I wonder if it becomes a tug of war with the fans over. Do you want to reset and do a whole new project with a new manager, or would you rather get an established manager who can keep you playing good football and trying to be competitive for a couple of years before you decide what your actual long-term project is going to be?
They can't go for a project, man. I don't think they can go for a project manager for me. Like they've just been through
not right now. But I mean, if they could get an established manager while they look at something in the long term, who knows? I don't.
Well, that's why a lot of people are saying should they get Jose Mourinho for like 1 or 2 years and wait to see, you know, what other managers are up and coming. In 2 years' time, there's probably going to be a couple more managers. Maybe De Zerbi is actually at that point. Everyone's like, "Nah, De Zerbi is that guy." Maybe like there's a couple of other managers at the time that you like, because at the moment the market's a bit dead. Jose Mourinho sat there, and some Liverpool fans are saying, "Just go and get him."
I still feel like with De Zerbi, he needs to take Brighton really deep in a cup competition to really get his stocks up and going. I do feel like he has to, or even if he can get Brighton in the top 4. He needs to get Brighton into a position where they can really push, like go beyond something, because it'll raise his stocks, and you know I think he'll pay attention to a lot bigger clubs.
Yeah, that's a bit of a madness. Check this news out coming out from big up Fraser, Pedro Sepulveda. Amarim's side asked Liverpool for a 3-year contract with a salary of £10 million per net per year. So is that after taxes then? Net it would be, in it. Net's after taxes, so plus a signing fee. Liverpool offered less than that apparently.
He's asking for half of what Pep gets from City.
Yeah, well,
a quarter of what Simeone gets from Atletico.
Yeah, Klopp's on £15 million a year apparently, so he wants less than Klopp, but they've said no apparently. So don't know, weird, man, weird, and I can understand why Liverpool fans are worried, innit, Hugh? Because like they're sitting here, you know, their season, you know, it's fallen off a little bit. Obviously, they can still win the league. The league is still on for them. If they can capitalize on any City mistakes, but it just feels that like. I feel like a lot of Liverpool fans feel it's coming to the end of an era. You know what I mean? You got Van Dijk running his mouth earlier on in the season saying, you know, he might leave whatever he said. And then he said, oh, no, I didn't say that, but he did. Salah, obviously, what's going on with him? The Saudis are probably going to be back in for him. Trent's only got 18 months left on his deal. Why is he still not signing a new contract? Like, I think a lot of Liverpool fans are looking at this and maybe getting a bit worried. And I understand why, innit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is coming to an end. I absolutely do. I think there's going to be a massive rebuild and a journey for Liverpool to go on before they get back to where they are. And look, from a selfish perspective, with my Man City hat on here, I think there's a real opportunity for us to go and continue to dominate, which is why I think there should be incentive here for Pep Guardiola to sign a new contract beyond 2025. Because with Klopp out of the league, it's just him. You know, Arteta's still very much unproven when it comes to actually winning trophies. You got Ten Hag, you got Poch, you got all, you know, those clubs doing all their things. Tottenham kind of making a bit of a push to improve, but there's a real avenue for Pep Guardiola to really dominate, continue to dominate heavily in England. But from a Liverpool's perspective, they need to be careful about who they appoint, because if you go and appoint Jose Mourinho, you're really going against the whole ethos of Liverpool Football Club, the way they play, the type of characters that they employ. It's very different to what they're used to. I mean, I don't know, did you watch Trent's overlap episode with Gary Neville? And he actually spoke. He was like, look, I am a bit apprehensive. I'm a bit nervous about coming back to my first preseason without Jurgen Klopp, because it's going to be totally different messages, totally different tactics, potentially totally different everything. I wouldn't be surprised if Trent leaves, man. He's still young. I could see him playing for Real Madrid. I could see him playing,
I see. I could see him playing for Real Madrid.
I could see him
Especially
play,
if he's
and the
only
thing
got
is,
a
'cause
year
he's still
left
so
on his
young,
deal.
bro. He could come back in 7-8 years and go back to Liverpool and do his thing. Maybe when they have a project established at that point. But Liverpool are at the point now where it's a whole new rebuild. I mean, I speak to Grizz a lot about it on the Big Six, and I think he's putting on a brave face. He's acting like he's calm, but you can't be, man. You can't be. With all the veterans of your team, Van Dijk, Salah, so on and so forth, and maybe Trent, as we said, potentially leaving, Klopp leaving. You don't know who the new manager is. All the project managers that you're going for are saying no. Bro, they're in limbo. Absolute limbo. I would hate for us to be in this position right now. You don't know what your club's going to look like in September. You have no idea what the team's going to look like. You have no idea what tactics you're going to play, what style of football. It's just pray. Pray they get it right. Michael Edwards has a big job on his hands.
I suppose it also comes down to, I think, they've got to be, the key thing for them is, they've got to be, recruitment's going to be just as important as whichever manager they get through the door. Because, if one thing when it comes to recruitment, history is on their side. I mean, the money that they got for Coutinho, if they don't sell Coutinho, then they don't get Alisson, they don't get Van Dijk, and they don't become, that amazing squad that, competed with us for so many years. So, for them, I think, it's an end of an era, and I think they might as well, it'd be smart for them to cash out on Salah, cash out now on Van Dijk, cash out now on Trent, and then look and use that money to go and rebuild and make another squad that's going to be suitable for something, for the future. Because sometimes you have to take a step back before you can continue moving forward. And, I'm sure there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of doubt amongst the fan base about going forward, like how much of a step back are we going to take? But sometimes you just have to accept that. And I've already made my peace as a City fan. I've already made my peace that when Pep goes, we may have to take a couple of seasons of just being on the back, take a step back and understand what's our new project going to be. Where's this club going to go now that Pep's gone? And the sooner you learn to be at peace with that, I think the sooner you can learn to function as a fan and understand that you're not going to be able to, compete for everything every single season. And sooner or later, you're going to have to learn to accept things for what they are. Other teams are going to come in, they're going to figure it out quicker than you, or they're going to play better football than you. But the sooner you learn, what's the old saying? They said the first step to solving a problem is acknowledging that there is one. And I think the sooner that they can understand that, yeah, look, Klopp's not going to be there anymore. Someone who was pulling all the strings and made, Liverpool what it was for the last, 10 years or something like that. Then the sooner they can understand it's like, that's fine. That's all in the past now. We need to move on. We need to get a contingency plan, get a project in place, get something going where we know that even if it may not exactly be what it's going to be successful straight off the bat, at least we know that we're going to see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, interesting. Gary Oneil, we didn't even speak about him, but he has been interviewed apparently for the job. I actually shouted him out the other day. Said, Gary Oneil could be the guy. He plays a decent brand of football and has done a fantastic job at Wolves. But
don't forget Bournemouth too. He did a great job at Bournemouth.
He did.
Them up.
Yeah, massively. Yeah. I think they sacked him really unfairly. Really, I know Ariola's doing a good job now, but yeah, he's a good manager. But does he have the name? Does he have will he command the respect of the players? That's what it's about, man. Listen, guys, we are going to wrap it up. I've got another show to dip onto. Big up to Pat for coming on. You can find him on Mancunian Way. Link is in the description. And of course, Hugh, again, link is in the description for his channel. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him as he's on his solo now. So he needs to get the subs up on the channel. I'll be back tonight, 7 p.m. with Martin as we discuss a lot about the Brighton game. I think we'll turn our attention to Brighton and just have a bit of a chat. You know what mine and Martin's conversations are like. And then we've got a watch along Arsenal v Chelsea as well. So make sure you come and join me for that one. Hopefully Chelsea can do something. I don't know if Palmer's available. Apparently, I don't think he is, but hopefully he's available. I'm going to go on Terrace now. I've got straight facts with Dan Potts, me and him, probably speaking a lot about Liverpool, man. So it should be funny because we'll probably rattle some Liverpool fans. Make sure you come and join us. Got a redirect on. Big up to Pat, as always. Big up to Hugh. Thanks for coming on, man. And big up to the Super Chatters who we had. We had JTI, Andrew Wright, and Crystal B. All right, guys, we'll catch you in the next one. See you later.
Thanks, guys.